got the money. What's it for the money? You got the money for the Porsha.
Hey you guys, what up? It's your boy Ty. I hope y'all are doing well today. I'm doing all right. I just wanted to come by real quickly and see what this article is about. This article was posted by, oh, by the way, if y'all have not followed my backup channel, make sure y'all go follow that backup channel. It's Son of Dennis 2. Make sure y'all follow, comment, and subscribe here. Let me know that you stopped by. And make sure you check out my Real Ultimate Housewives Girl Trip and the Real Housewives of Atlanta Reunion Part 1 reviews, recaps. I did them like I would record and then I would, punch in. And hopefully I didn't play too much audio. Bravo, this is for educational purposes only. But I think I'm going to do that style because my Real Housewives Ultimate review was longer, but my Real Housewives of Atlanta was like 22 minutes by the time I got done editing it. So at any rate, y'all make sure y'all check out those videos. Back and wait. With that being said, let's get into this article. So this article was posted August 9th, 2026 by Justin Smith. And the title is Porsha Williams Has Too Much Power on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Opinion Piece. Or opinion. So this is an opinion piece. What the white lady said, this is my opinion. Whatever she said. So, season 17 of The Housewives of Atlanta has been has been a compelling watch, but it has also exposed a frustrating power imbalance within the cast. Porsha sits firmly at the top of the pecking order, and she is well aware of this fact. Now that her feud with Shamia Morton-Mwangi has reached new levels of toxicity, the women around them have largely fallen in line. I agree with that statement. After 2 seasons of watching these ladies call each other lapdogs, Porsha's lap appears to be fuller than ever at the end of this season. If Bravo doesn't course correct, we're going to end up watching the Porsha show instead of a genuine ensemble cast. History tells us that's not a winning formula. Bravo rolled out the red carpet for Porsha Williams' RHO return, and everyone took note. When Porsha made a return after sitting 2 seasons on the sidelines, it wasn't just an ordinary Housewives comeback. She inked an overall deal with NBC Universal Entertainment for scripted project opportunities across all of the company's properties. That means they didn't just roll out the carpet. They also backed up the Brinks truck to make Porsha an NBCU staple. The timing couldn't have been better. Nene Leakes had already burned her bridges. Kandi quit. And then shortly after season 16, Kenya Moore squandered her role. Their departures left Porsha as the most tenured housewife. I hate it here. Because oh my God, I hate it. And in the lineup, most tenured housewife in the lineup, and suddenly the de facto OG. Emphasis on de facto. I hate it. I hate all of it. The Britty of it all. Like, I really hate it. And the fact that, like, if Brit had just not even done the lawsuit, I'm going to keep reiterating on these videos about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Y'all, Kenya and Brit were supposed to both return in season 17. It's the lawsuit. That's why. And then didn't even come back for season 17, but Bravo, y'all played yourself. It is just disrespectful how Kenya Moore was done by the network. Y'all don't have to like her, y'all don't have to love her, whatever, it's fine. But Kenya was, after Nene, Nene is always going to be at the top of Real Housewives of Atlanta. But Kenya took that baton and she went a-running. And one thing I like is, especially with Nene and Kenya's dynamic, I mean, it did get toxic at times, but post the show, they've always maintained that they were good for the show. But at any rate, neither here nor there. Bravo has continued to make that clear. Whoa. Sorry, the page refreshed. Okay. They tapped her to represent Atlanta on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th. She's the only woman in the lineup who isn't an original cast member of their franchise. With that level of network backing behind her, it's not surprising that Roa, season 17, saw most of the cast falling behind her. When you know who the network's favorite is, you play accordingly, and the season 17 cast is definitely playing right now. I agree with that as well. Giving one housewife star too much power never ends well. Hey, Giselle. I added that in there. Unfortunately, we've seen this trend time and time again across the Bravo universe, and every single time it's exhausting. Just look at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Everyone on that cast tiptoes around Kyle Richards because they believe crossing her comes with consequences. Dorit dared to call out her behind the scenes influence at their latest reunion. There's no word on yet whether she'll live to see another season. That would be terrible if she doesn't, because Dorit is poor. Over on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Teresa's OG status held a similar grip. Her feud with sister-in-law Melissa Gorga held the show hostage for years, forcing the rest of the cast to pick sides in a family feud. With no resolution in sight, the show eventually went on pause until they could figure it out. Roa is reaching a similar dead end. Once Porsha drew her boundary with Shamia, the cast took sides. Kelly Potter appears to be the only person willing to sit in Shamia's corner. From Angela to Kay, the women drifted towards Team Porsha. From the outside looking in, their attachment to Porsha seems less genuine friendship and more like social strategy. The Drew Sidora situation feels especially telling. Drew and Porsha feuded throughout season 16, but they're buddy-buddy now. In season 17, as Porsha gave Shamia the silent treatment, she invited Drew to launch her own line of wigs with Go Naked hair. With Drew literally on Porsha's payroll, I'm going to add Cynthia to that. They're probably going to get into that later, maybe, we'll see. But what are the odds of her speaking up against her new boss? Slim to none. Reality TV vet Kay also started the season feeling hesitant about Porsha, whom she referred to as a bimbo online. By the end of the season, she pulled a full 180 and had unfollowed Shamia on social media. What happened? Now, I don't necessarily think, from what I recall, and maybe that will play out on the show, Kay Michelle mentioned the Waldorf, which is a hotel, so I guess her and Kay were on a vacation and something happened. I don't quite know, but we'll hopefully find out about it on the reunion. One by one, we watched the roadcast ice Shamia out and elevate Porsha as some sort of spiritual guide. Y'all, when Porsha starts getting on her soapbox and preaching, it just pisses me off because there's no type of, what did Kim Zolciak say to Mbele on season 10? I don't feel a spiritual connection with you. Like, I just don't, it don't register. Like, no, what are we doing? And the group really sitting there nodding like she's saying some shit. No, get the fuck out of here. And moral compass to their friend group. That's crazy. It's Porsha's world and they're all just living in it. Roa season 18 needs to even the playing field. The easiest solution for Bravo moving forward would be to fire Shamia and let Porsha run the playground unchecked. There are plenty of rumors swirling that Shamia already received a pink slip, but firing Shamia at this particular moment in the middle of a defining storyline would be the wrong road. Shamia is one of the few cast members willing to challenge Porsha, and removing her only tips the scales even further. Instead, Bravo needs to even the playing field so these women can be free to be themselves rather than doing Porsha's bidding. There's only so much room on one lap. What this cast needs is a heavy hitter. They need someone with enough history, clout, and fearlessness to stand in their own spotlight instead of running under Porsha's. Think Nene or Candy, or throw in someone who Shamia knows well enough to stand beside her without needing Porsha's approval to do it. Without that counterbalance, season 18 might end up feeling like a stale one-woman show. And that was, again, written by Justin Smith, who has been on the internet writing and cackling about celebrities and reality TV since 2016. You can find him in St. Louis binging old seasons of Real Housewives, New York City, with his 2 black cats, Jinx and Hex. That's funny. And then it says, tell us what your thoughts are on the current dynamics. Do you think the cast cowers to Porsha? I would agree. I would definitely agree. And to be very clear, I think there are multiple things going on. I think some of the women have legitimate issues with Shamia. Really, when you break it down to me, Drew is the only one that has a legit issue as far as her coming for her. And then even when Porsha, granted it wasn't genuine, but when Porsha did a ceasefire at the reunion and said, just come here, and went to go hug her and all that, it's very evident that Oh yeah, it wasn't genuine. But she did do that, and then this season, she has not talked trash about Drew. I don't even think she said any shade towards her really. Besides maybe like the rainbow party thing, which was fun shade. But she, hasn't talked shit about her again. And Shamia, you gotta take that because you did go on that video and say you could have said more. So I mean, Porsha didn't do any of that. Again, I do think it's more a strategic match turned friendship. They seem, excuse me, as friendly as you can get with a person like Porsha. But yeah, that's the only person that I think has a legitimate issue with Shamia. Angela and Shamia were on vacations together last season, so I don't understand where all this energy is coming from her. Like I said in previous reviews, unless it's the rumor that Shamia was going to bring on that person who was saying that Angela was using the gala donations to gamble. Like, that's the only reason that I could put together why Angela has all this smoke for Shamia. It looks weird. It looks crazy. The George situation of it all. I know when we get to that part of the reunion, I'm going to be cussing. I know it's going to stress me the fuck out. Because the truth of the matter is, George is a lecherous old pervert man. Lecherous old pervert men to all types of stuff. And either Angela, there's no way to spin this. Y'all are trying to create these, pockets of, oh, well, Angela, oh, well, no. Angela is very either manipulative or stupid. To hear an old man say she was so fine I had to pay her and just automatically assume that meant that she spread her legs for him. And misogynistic to that. So you misogynistic and stupid, or you misogynistic and manipulative? Because that doesn't equate the two. And you asking these people when they're liquored up at this party, so they can't really necessarily keep up with how the conversations are going, because if you notice, they have been drinking quite a bit before Angela got there. So now she's able to, mince words with them and, oh, well, are you sure? And did you, so it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, nonetheless, I agree with this article 100%. Potomac has gotten unbearable to watch because Giselle has too much power. They did sit her down and say, you're going to have to make up with Wendy, season 9. And to be fair, Giselle is handling Wendy's case. I haven't seen her shade Wendy yet. I have not seen her shade Wendy super hard like the Giselle that could. Because if you ask me, Giselle hated Wendy and Candace. She hated them. I think that was some deep-rooted, colorist type of, like, on a deeper level, how dare these dark-skinned women have the life, the family, the husband that I was told that I was supposed to have with my colored eyes and light skin, and I didn't get. Instead, I got a pastor that was fucking the pews. So I think I really, really do think some of those issues with the women on Potomac and other shows, they're deeper than just surface shade and we just don't like each other. It goes a little deeper than that. But neither here nor there. Production did sit her down and say, you're going to have to talk to Wendy. And then, of course, they didn't, talk about the parts that we really wanted to discuss when they did have or showcase the sit down between Wendy and Giselle. But, and I think the same was kind of the same thing. I think the same way that they did that is the same way that it was like, oh, you lied to us about Porsha Corbadia coming on and we got Porsha Williams. Shamia gonna be the glue. I think they needed to do that anyways because they needed wealth and they needed, like, Porsha couldn't film in the house. So they needed to showcase somebody with wealth. But I also think there was some, oh, okay, got you. Well, Shamia, she'll be the girl. She's the girl for season 16. Like I said, Shamia did not understand the power she held season 16. But, I think the best thing for Shamia and Kelly to do season 18 is keep that bond impenetrable. Do not let these women break y'all down because the goal is going to be, let me not say the goal is, but we saw what they did in Scotland. If they can ever pull Kelly to that side, it's over for Shamia. Because all you have to do is convince one housewife or convince everybody to not film with one housewife. And at that point, if they can't film with you, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing they can do. I think the icing out is lame. I think it's tired. I think it's through. I think the teams and the alliances are tired and through. I think there's a lot of strategy that goes into these games because, like Erica De Niro TV says, we're watching a game show. We're not watching an ensemble cast of women who had vacationed together and gotten along and have years of friendship amongst each other. We're watching who can read the best, who can shave the best, and yeah, it's very sad to see where the show is at now. As I would consider Rowan to be one of the cream of the crop of Bravo at one point, but this is very sad. I've heard that we have Potomac's producers for Roa, and if so, that makes sense. Literally, she just met up with Giselle, and we know how Giselle likes to get on Potomac. Pile-ons, isolation, icing out, all of that. Shamil, you're going to have to get your Stacey on, and you're going to have to get there with these women. You're going to have to get your Kendra Moore on, cuss their asses out, and cross your legs. And get your Candy on. Like, come back and do, Candy has Candy Cares. I'm sure Shamia has some sort of foundation. Showcase that. Like, and then, like I said in a prior review, if she showcases that, like, who can talk negatively about philanthropy? You know what I'm saying? Well, some of y'all are miserable, so you'll find a way. I think the show works best when we have a balance of philanthropy, giving back. Phaedra will always, a part of Phaedra for me, a big part will always be what she did to Candy. But when I saw, and still when I see, Phaedra and Kenya in Detroit, was it Flint? Yeah, I think they were giving back to the kids of Flint. When I see that scene, I cry. Like, tears come to my eyes, and I don't really cry that much. But to see all those black children and to see them just like when they visited the kids in Africa back on season 4, like, you need a balance of that stuff on the show. And I mean, Pinky tried that with the Pinky Cares event. So I think that's what her foundation is called. Or Pinky Cole Cares, whatever it's called. But she did try that. So, I mean, we had it here and there, but I think a little bit more of a balance of that. I think a couple of the wives need to bring friends on the show, and a couple of them can go. And I think that'll help kind of like, granted this person ain't friends with everybody, but you can't just come in and Brady Kelly the situation, and by the end of the season they're not friends no more. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It needs to be, Shamia definitely needs another person on her side for sure. I honestly feel like Drew can go. The fact that we're just getting your storyline in episode 16, yeah, you can go. You can get the fuck out. I want Angela gone too. Angela, like, the line and the way that she manipulated the George situation was kind of Phaedra-esque in the way that she took this and turned it into that. And I didn't like that. And then it also makes me look at her as Junebug last season, because that shit didn't make sense. And then when you watch the dude, I think his name is Alex Hines, when you watch him, like, explain the situation, like, it's like, yeah, no, this is what happened, Angela. You were setting Phaedra up. And I mean, Phaedra's character, one thing, that's why you have to be careful about how you present to the public. For a lot of us, it was kind of like, hey, Phaedra might have did it, she might not have. There was a point to me where, in Porsha Confessional, when she said, I'm starting to think Angela did this to herself. I was like, you know what? She might be right. But, if Phaedra hadn't have done to Candy what she did, if she hadn't have done Kenya how she did her, like, it wouldn't be so easy for people to believe that when you're coming back on the show and, the whole Angela Junebug situation. But, be careful of the story that you write of yourself. You might not have been innocent here, but you might have been innocent here, but because people already know how you get down, Phaedra can, not mad if Phaedra stays. I mean, I'm sure she is, but I'm actually not mad if Phaedra stays. I would like to see Shamia have Candy on her side, if Candy was willing to even just be a friend of. And then that could work out to where Candy can stay on the show and Phaedra can stay too, and Candy just don't have to film with Phaedra. And I don't fault her for that. I feel like Candy was much closer to Phaedra than she was Porsha, and when you combine that with halo effect that Porsha has, and the fact that I'm pretty sure Candy and Todd either did want to do or have done some stuff with Porsha before, it makes sense why she's willing to forgive Porsha. But neither here nor there. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Cynthia, I mean, I ain't trying to see no black woman out of a paycheck, but Cynthia, like, this flip-flop shit, this, like, you in your confessionals saying the truth, but in the screen, you acting a different way. Whack, whack, get it out of here. In fact, I don't want anybody that's employed by any of the housewives on as a housewife. I feel like, let that be your job. Go do that. Or at least knock yourself down to a friend role. If Drew gonna be with Go Naked, then she can be a friend of. And she can pop in for some photo shoots. Same with Cynthia. I don't want to see a housewife that's working for another housewife, because then you're not going to be giving your authentic self, because that's your boss. Be bossed around by your boss, honey. But at any rate, y'all let me know what y'all thought about that article down below. I got some chicken thighs I need to go marinate. And then I'm gonna sit the fuck down and watch some anime. It has been a long work week the last few weeks. Or last few days. But yeah, I will holler at y'all on the next video.